Prepper King back to you with another informational video on the Prepper King channel. I am the Prepper King. Welcome back, my loyal subjects. And today we're going to have a talk about how the world has just gone mad. I mean, I know when I was younger, we had our problems. There would be things in the world that went wrong. We had the Vietnam War when I was a real little kid, and there was different types of things happening. Patty Hearst. And there was a news cycle out there. But not like this. This age that's coming, this AI age that's coming. I know there's going to be a dystopia out there, but on the end, will it be a utopia? I don't know. I think that people have to have a meaning in life, and without a meaning in life, what is there? If everybody is the same, let me move this out of the way here. If everybody is the same, I mean, what is that? I don't know. I guess this younger generation that they're a different animal compared to when I was a kid. They're not all of them, but majority of them are growing up in a different way that we would never ever think of as when we were kids. I mean, the TVs were this big, maybe. And you got your, cartoons in the morning on Saturday, and after school there was like one or two programs to watch, but that was it. And you had to go out and you had to make your own fun and be creative and use your head, Now with this technology that we have nowadays, it's just bad news, I think, because this AI is taking over everything, and you saw it in the job numbers and the tech numbers. There was a huge amount of loss of white collar jobs, good paying jobs that are going to be taken over by non-humans. And how do we get through this? There has to be, which I can't even fathom, is a universal basic income. You're going to have to give people money. Because how are they supposed to live? How is this thing going to work out? Ooh, got a crack of thunder there. Yeah, we had some really bad thunderstorms, and they're still around. We had a major tornado roll through. 4 people got killed. Decimated a whole city, small town. Prep out there, folks. Because if you got through that, and that power is going to be out for quite a while they rebuild and retool, you're going to be as comfortable as you can be to get through those things. And a lot of those stores got decimated. Menards got blown apart. So if you wanted to get some stuff from there, which is a huge place, so it just goes to show you, even in small happenings that might happen in your life, as far as tornadoes and storms and everything, being a prepper is crucial. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. AI is going to ruin this platform that I'm talking to you on now, because you know it and I know it. I go on there and I see all these AI generated videos, and some of them are pretty well done. The cartoon ones, do the prepping thing and all that. They're interesting, but to talk to a real person, to see a real person, is what I like. I don't like to see this, you could tell, the voice is a little off, and they got the same kind of AI voice for many videos. You notice that? And it's just ruined the whole platform. There should be some kind of asterisk that says AI in the corner or something like that. YouTube's going to do, because they're going to lose viewers because of it. Is this eventually going to happen? Unless channels like mine that are out there that are talking to you directly, and I'm a human being and not some entity out there. Otherwise, it's gonna be implode. It will feed on each other. They'll take over and feed on each other, and then platforms and smaller platforms like mine will just get pushed back down. And what are we left with? So my thought is that it will all end if something happens catastrophically across the nation that will take down things, because right now, if this continues the way it's going, we are going to have a major disruption. You need to prep because job losses will increase. I just looked at a chart the other day from 2022 till now. We're on a trajectory down with the jobs creation, and we've gone negative now. And even the ones that we did gradually make some had some jobs added, they were smaller. The graph is going a trend down, 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 down. And how is it going to go back up with all the things that are going on in the world today? There is no way that that's going to go up again. You're going to have a massive unemployment. There's cycles. There's cycles that go through. You have, times of good times, bad times. I had my share. At this age, look at my hair. So, I can see it. It's coming. You need to prepare for it. And AI is not helping. AI is not going to help on this deal. They're going to have it. Whereas I still watched this Chinese New Year video where they had the AI robot. They're doing flips and splits and contortionist things that a human can never do. Never, ever do. So they're going to be working 24/7 around the clock in factories. There's going to be no need for a human being when it comes to this AI. And it's not a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing. Comment below to think if it's a good thing. But how are we supposed to make a living? How are we supposed to get through? You need to prep. You need to stock up on food. You need to stock up on shampoo. You need to stock up on everything. You see it on sale, buy it. Buy one, get one, buy it. If you have it, if you can do it, stock up on fuel, stock up on these stuff. I know it takes money to do these things. But basic stuff like rice, beans, and stuff like that are still relatively cheap. And you got to be creative, make your own, be creative with it, make dinners with it, And I always say go to the clearance. If you go to a grocery store, they always have a clearance rack. I don't care if it's about to be expired. I'd buy that anyway. You know me, folks out there. I'll buy it. And it will be fine for years. So don't think that, if it's just because the expiration date is there, that you can't buy it and keep it, put it in your preps. Because you're going to need them. What's going on over there? Someone opened the door on me. What are you doing over there? Come here, you. Come here, Scouty. Someone's peeking in, wants to go for a walk, but it's raining, so he's very impatient. But but that's, my thoughts on that. And I don't think that the future looks too bright to me. You got to stay close to your family. You got to stay close to your friends. Make the best of it. Don't dwell on it. Because life is short. You only have so much time on this earth, folks. Just your minuscule blip on the screen when it comes to life. And if you're into prepping, you can get through and have a better life without prepping. Not knowing that you don't have stuff on hand that you can use in case of emergency has got to be stressful. I'm not stressed. I know what I'm ready for anything that comes upon me. I'm not totally ready. Nobody ever is totally ready for something that happens. But if you're out there and you stocked up on batteries and fuel and food and medications and ammo and all that kind of stuff, if you have that on hand, you could always start. There's never too late to start because this AI is going to be a progression. It's progressing faster and faster and faster and faster. And you could see it. I can see it. They got grocery stores you can go into now that you don't even need to have anybody working it. There's a grocery store in Colorado, a Dollar General, but there's not one employee in it. Robots do everything. It's like a flagship store, but there's so many cameras on the ceiling. They can make cameras dirt cheap nowadays. Technology is getting really cheap. There's and they have these like little tracks that go on the floor, and then they stock stuff automatically. You scan your phone on a QR code or whatever to get into the store. You got to have an app to get in. Once you get in, anything you pick up off the shelf just goes right onto your credit card, and it's right onto your phone. You can see it as it tallies on your phone. You walk out the store, boom, you're done. If you're a thief, And they won't let you in. It won't let you in. And if you get in without, it'll lock the doors on you and they'll call the police on you automatically. Just crazy technology out there. So how is that going to work out for us as human beings? So you got to think about that and get that in your preps. Prep for AI. It's another thing you should prep for is AI, man. I'm not beating around the bush. It is coming. And you know it, I know it, the world knows it, and it's here. And it's not going to be a situation where it's going to be all dandelions and flowers and roses around, stuff like that, man. It's going to be a hard time. People that don't work, they don't have no meaning. There's no meaning. Well, you work. Your work is your life. At least for me, it is. And there are other people out there that don't really care about working, and they just care about playing video games, and what next level they're on when it comes to a video game, and ordering out for DoorDash or Uber Eats. But I'm not one of those people, and there's a lot of people out there. Most people are like me. We're an older generation. We're getting older, and I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like it at all. I've tried to stay. I'm an analog person. I'm filming this right now on my Android phone that I don't even have used for a phone. It's just here in the house so I can do stuff like this. I have a flip phone. I watch VCR tapes. I'm a big music fan. I listen to CDs. I listen to AM/FM radio. I don't like the technology. I have a car that's from 1999. I have 4 cars, and none of them are over 2002, because they made stuff better. They made it's analog. I want a knob. I don't want a touch screen. I think that takes away more from driving than anything. Sitting there going on a touch screen. You're going to need none of that. Waymo's coming. You'll go on your phone and say, I want a car. Who's going to need a car? What's going to happen to the auto industry? You don't even have to have insurance. You don't have to have none of that stuff. What's going to happen to the insurance industry? Look at how much everything. You're not going to need delivery drivers. It's going to be all self-driving. What's going to happen to all the drivers? What's going to happen to Uber drivers, the DoorDash drivers? Drones will send a pizza to you now. And this is the problem, because these people that are working in these industries support other industries that don't use AI. If you got a pizza place, but everybody's laid off, they don't have money for pizza, the pizza place goes out of business. It's a cascading effect, and it's just one thing after another. It's not just because one thing doesn't use AI, like a gutter cleaner guy, he don't need, AI is not going to take that over for a long time to get up on a roof and clean gutters. But who's going to hire the gutter cleaning guy when they have no money? They're going to have to clean them themselves, or let the gutters just fill up with crap. That's the way it is. And it's not, and everybody feels it. You could feel it around. You could feel it in the air that people they're just sad. They know it's coming. It's supposed to be a utopia. We always watched the Jetsons when we were a kid. Press a button, a turkey comes out of the wall, whatever, And, it's just, but, George went off to his job in his little space car. But that's not going to happen. It's a totally different vision of the future. It's a totally different vision, and it's not going to be good. It might be good on the other end. It might be at the end. They say all revolutions, industrial revolution, all the revolutions. People didn't want tractors because it took away from the people working in the fields. It took away from farming jobs. But the tractors made it more efficient. Those people lost their jobs, but we always found other jobs. But is there going to be other jobs at the end of this? Is there going to be other jobs at the end of this? What else? What is there going to be? What can you work at? And the fact that AI is not trustworthy. They can kill us all. They can make a biological weapon. They're cheating. They'll tell you what you want to hear. They'll blackmail you. They'll do all kinds of stuff. They'll blackmail you without even you doing anything wrong. You never did what they said, but they're going to still blackmail you anyway. This is dangerous, folks. You need to prepare for it because it's not going to be good. In the end, it's not going to be good. You know, uh, it's scary, you know. But if you get prepared, stock up on certain things, you'll be in a better situation than other people. I'm the Prepper King. Like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you on the next one.